our virtual green room right now, we go to Audrey Thomas, and her book is called Your Eyes Can't See My Heart. We had a wonderful off-air conversation a while ago about her book and where she is and the things that have happened in her life, and she's so inspiring. Audrey, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Good morning to you.
You and I have the commonality of New York and growing up in New York. And you told me an interesting story. And people don't always realize what it takes to sometimes break through and sometimes the struggles that you come across. And you're an attorney, but it wasn't easy getting into the position that you're in, right?
Absolutely not. It was not easy at all.
Tell us about that journey. What was that like?
Well, my story, I tell people constantly, is a story that I think is more common than we care to acknowledge, right? Everyone has in their journey their own adversities that they had to overcome. And for me, it was, I came to this country at the age of 10 as an immigrant, but as an illegal alien. By the time I was 15, I became pregnant and had my first child. And I dropped out of high school, and I've had so many things that people would consider failures, but they have proven to be my greatest asset and my legacy for my own children.
Yeah, wow. And so in this book, what was it that led you to write this book? Why'd you write this story?
I wrote the story because as an attorney, I find that one of the greatest impediments to people's success is the belief that they can't. You know, I've had young men tell me, oh, I could never be a lawyer. I dropped out of high school. One young man said to me, I can't be an attorney. I don't know who my father is. And
wow.
it broke my heart to hear him speak of a place of broken, right? Because a lot of times people's perception is the only impediment to their success, whether it be race, sexuality, gender. You have to choose to overcome whatever people are trying to use to bind you. If you don't make that choice, it doesn't matter what anyone else does. You can't attain success. So for me, it was after hearing so many people say they can't, I had to explain to them why they can. And I thought the title, Your Eyes Can't See My Heart, was befitting because it helps you to conceptualize that you can't tell a person's journey by looking at them. You don't even know what a person's intentions are by speaking to them. Until a person is called on to choose, no one ever really knows what they're going to do or what the outcome would be.
Boy, so true. So in the book, tell us more about the book. So if we crack open the book, people are listening to our conversation. This is great and powerful, what you're telling us. What do you tell people to do?
I tell people to support their children, to be loving, to be kind, and most of all, to find communities, not one or two or commonalities. Find communities to be a part of. You know, make your weak ties strong and your circumstances certain. So, for example, I talked about the fact that I had a child at 15. The only reason why I was able to go on to become an attorney is because I had the love and support of my entire community. I've never struggled one day with my children. I have 9 today. Never struggled one day with my children. Although my marriage failed, the reality is we chose to co-parent very well. So the child was not an impediment. The child was actually an inspiration. I wanted to have the child be proud of me, so I wanted to accomplish greaterness. As a result, I took a GED, and then I went to business school. And from business school, I had a professor that encouraged me to go to college. When I got to college, I had Dr. Hughes who encouraged me to go to law school, but I was a chicken, so I went to grad school instead. My professor in grad school encouraged me to go and further my dreams of being an attorney. He literally said to me, there is no reason why you can't. There are several reasons why you can't. So in the book, I try to encourage people to accept help, ask for help, and ignore the negative forces that are running around inside your head. Because most of the adversity that we're complaining of are self-inflicted.
Wow, so true. I love it. It's so powerful what you said. Accept help, ask for help. And why is that so hard for us to all do?
Because we're taught, especially in the United States, we're taught that individuality is tantamount to living, right? We're taught that if you're not doing it yourself, somehow you're lacking. Even, for example, a person whose parents are wealthy, if that person accomplishes anything, they'll be judged and, his daddy did this. No, there's nothing wrong with having help. If the universe thought we could do it alone, we wouldn't be on a planet with 8 billion people. We just would not.
Yeah, so true. And then, and also too, what you said about find community, because people feel isolated, especially now more than ever. And there's a lot of ways to find community, and you can find a lot of different communities, can't you?
Yes, you can. You know what's funny? I got to tell you this quickly. Yesterday, I pulled up in the mall, and my paralegal was with me, and there were 6 kids together. Right? One was wearing a turban. One was dressed like he was a rap artist. There was a young woman who I'm certain that she's Jewish because of how she was dressed, but I can't confirm or deny that. There was another guy that looked like a total hippie, and we were looking at this group of 6 people, and we were thinking, how did they get together? And my friend started laughing, my paralegal Javian, and I said to him, I figured it out. He said, what? They went to high school together.
There you go.
They went to high school together. And it's we're conditioned in our socialization to believe that if it doesn't talk like you, walk like you, pray like you, eat like you, then all of a sudden it's far removed from you. And that's not the case. I am the woman that I am today, not because I'm great or, extremely, extremely powerful. I am the woman that I am because I'm an average woman who had exceptional love and support from many places. Yesterday, I posted about my boss in Blue Cross Blue Shield, Tony Jablonski, who he has passed away now. He was in the towers at 9/11 and developed cancer and passed away. But he was instrumental in getting me to go to college, right? I've had help from just about every single community that you can imagine. And I think the reason being is I grew up in Jamaica, and the creed that is force-fed to us from birth in Jamaica is, out of many, we're one people. So growing up, I'm never going to say I don't see color. You have to be blind, deaf, and dumb to not see color. I see color. I know black. I know white. I know, Asian. I know all of the different races, ethnicities, gender differences. But what I don't see are differences, right? I believe that the humanity that we all have is very common.
Wow, so well said. The humanity that we have is all one. I mean, what did you say? Out of many, we're one people.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And even my own, genealogy is very diverse. My great-grandmother, her parents immigrated to Jamaica from Germany to avoid the Holocaust. My father is a Maroon. My maternal grandmother is a Jamaican Indian and Irish. You can't get a more diverse background.
Yeah, I love it.
And I, so I believe that for me, I'm hoping that this is not just a book, that it is the instrumentality that many will use to brave their fears, to believe that they can, that the fact that you've taken a detour and you haven't done it the way people have said you should or the way your peers have doesn't mean that you don't get to do it. I ended up at the Kings County District Attorney's Office. The guy that I shared my office with went to Harvard. I graduated 287 in a class of 287, right? But we ended up in the same office. We were sharing an office at the Kings County District Attorney's Office. I flunked out of law school my first 2 semesters. The first time I flunked out, they put me on probation. The second time, they expelled me. And I kept going to school while I was appealing the decision. Finally, Mary said, Audrey, you're going to get me fired. You can't keep coming to school. I said, yes, I can, because when I win the appeal, who's going to give me back all the days that I missed from school? Sure enough, I won the appeal. They decided to let me back in, and they said the only issue is you're going to have to repeat the classes because you missed so many days. I said, I didn't miss one day. So they called Mary, who was taking attendance. Did Miss Watson come to school? They said yes. She said yes. I couldn't get her to leave. She came every day. And that's how I finished law school. And I never forget Professor Barrett said to me, "You don't worry about where you're graduating. 2.0 equals JD. Your concern should be to graduate. You don't tell a fish to climb a tree. You focus on finishing. It's not how you finish. It's whether you finish." And I never forgot that.
That's right. There's a hashtag. It's not how you finish, it's whether you finish. If more people embrace that, they would step over that fear, and they would ask for help, and they would build community and all the wonderful things that you told us. Okay, so the book is Your Eyes Can't See My Heart. Audrey Thomas, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
I appreciate you. Now I'm a part of the community.
Excellent. You are part of my community. Thank you, and I'm part of yours. Thanks, Audrey, once again.
I appreciate you.
Yep.
Stay safe and prosper.
You too.